Folks, it's Paul here from Wexford Wild Valley Honey. I'm just going to show you what a swarm is like, the whole procedure, because one of my hives just swarmed. This hive here just swarmed there literally minutes ago, and it just calmed down. I don't know if you can hear the noise, but if you listen, I'll bring you over to the swarm. They swarmed about 10 minutes ago. And now the queen has landed somewhere on that branch, and all the rest of she releases a pheromone just to call all the rest of the bees to land with her. It's mostly worker bees, like female bees, but there will be some drones there as well. And they land there today. It's about 2 o'clock today on a sunny day, sunny June day, and they will land there for a few hours, and then they probably won't go anywhere today because it's late enough in the afternoon, so they will sit tight there today and tonight, and then tomorrow when the day warms up, probably about 11 or 12 o'clock or maybe 1 o'clock, they will all just fly off and find a new home. But that's what beekeepers don't want, because as you can see, there's a lot of bees there, and if they will fly away. And also there is the fact that they might go to a neighbour's house and get into their fascia and soffit or whatever else, and they mightn't be overly happy with that either. So for two reasons a beekeeper wants to keep his bees. But the main reason obviously is to keep the bees so they keep producing honey, because if they go live somewhere else, they might find, they might be in, like I said, in somebody's attic or something like that, maybe causing a bit of a nuisance, or they might find a hole in a tree or something like that, and they probably would survive in the wild. They probably would, but there's not many mature trees around as there used to be years ago, because a lot of trees were cut down over the history of Ireland. An awful lot of trees were cut down, some by our neighbours next door, but anyway, we won't talk about that. But so all the bees will land on this branch, and they will stay there, and they will congregate there, and tomorrow they will go off somewhere. But what I will do is I will do it this evening. I basically come down with a cardboard box, and just put it underneath this branch, give it a good shake, and all the bees will fall into the box, and then I'll transfer them from the cardboard box into a ready-made home, with all the frames and all the stuff ready for them. So in that sense, it does give the bees a bit of a kickstart too, because the frames will be there already, and there will be wax foundation in the frames, and some of the frames might have honeycomb already on them, so it gives the bees a little bit of a kickstart. Because if they go into the wild, they can do that process themselves, but they have to start from the very beginning. Obviously, they have to make their own honeycomb, so that would take a little bit longer and more resources to do that. And I just noticed there's some on the ground here in front of me as well, so I hope the queen hasn't landed down there, but maybe she has. While they're looking at those bees, they do seem to be a little bit more moving around, and they do seem to be landing on this one and staying there. So I would suggest that she's in this group here on the branch, and these girls down here eventually will find their way up. And I'm glad I put my mask on, because there's one bee zipping around my face there a little bit. I hope she doesn't find my hands, because my hands are bare. So there you go, that's the whole process of the swarm. Basically they left that hive there about 15 minutes ago. Well, about half them, that's a big swarm, so it's at least half the bees are thereabouts from that hive. And they all fly around, and the queen comes out too. And it's the resident queen there, it's not the virgin queen, not the younger queen, it's the resident queen that leaves. And she goes and she releases a pheromone that the rest of the bees all follow, or not all the bees, but about half the colony follows her out. They land on a branch, they all congregate on a branch first, because when they come out it's kind of mayhem. There's still some of them flying around, they're all flying around the air together. So she lands somewhere close to the hive, they all congregate there, and if it's early in the day, they might leave later in that day to find a new home. But if it's late in the afternoon like it is now, they will stay there tonight and tomorrow. If the weather is good, if the weather was bad, they will just stay there until the weather improves. And I've often noticed actually, if the weather gets really bad, that sometimes they will just start drawing honeycomb right where they are and make a nest there. But that would never survive, not in the winter time when the bad weather comes. They need to be enclosed somewhere. So these bees will all congregate there, and tonight about 7 or 8 o'clock. Actually, I'm going to a meeting first, probably about 9 o'clock or half 9 before I get back. I will just come down with a cardboard box, shake them all into the box, and hopefully the queen will fall in too. And then I'll just basically bring that cardboard box to one of the hives that's empty and just tip all the bees into it. And when you do it at 8 o'clock or 7 or 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night in summertime, that works really well because they're starting to settle down for the night anyway. So when they go into the box, they're quite happy to stay there, and they will just all go in and stay there. And then tomorrow they will start coming out, and then they will orientate themselves to their new home, their new hive. That's it, folks. Give you a close look at the hive. It's mostly female bees. I don't see any drones so far. I don't see the queen either. But she's somewhere in that cluster of bees. She's somewhere there hiding. She goes into it, yeah. She's probably, that's again like she's the most important part of the whole colony really. So she will go into the middle of it, and she will be protected, say some whatever animals might predate on them a little bit. She'll be on the inside, so she'll be safe. Although I've never seen the birds, to be honest. I've never seen birds or anything go near them. They probably know they can get stung. And these are the girls on the ground. There seems to be an awful lot more activity, an awful lot more movement on this cluster on the ground, so that would suggest to me that the queen is up here. And all these guys will eventually find their way up. There's the yellow pollen in that bee's legs, so that bee was literally coming back from collecting pollen from the bee just landed on the screen of my phone, but you can't see that. But that bee was literally on the way back from collecting pollen for that hive up there. But then with the melee of the whole, swarm leaving, she got carried away with the rest of them. There she is again. And that will be a little bit of food. It will be a little bit of a start. And also the bees, before they swarm, they know. Like there's a queen cell in that hive up there, and it hasn't hatched yet, but it's probably just about to hatch, usually a day or two later after this swarm. So these bees can sense that, and they would probably, stock up with some reserves, just on the honey reserves just in that hive. So when they leave, they'll have some food with them. That's it, guys. I don't see any drones. I don't know what that's about. I don't see any drones, because usually drones come as well. Unless the queen didn't lay many drones in that hive, I don't know why, but maybe she didn't. If she lays unfertilized eggs, they become drones. And the fertilized eggs become the female worker bees, and nurse bees. You probably can hear that buzzing noise too. It's a very distinctive noise. It's actually quieting down a little bit. That buzzing noise was a lot louder like 15-20 minutes ago. That's it, folks. If you liked the video, please like it and subscribe. Thank you very much.